In 1932, a peculiar war erupted in the remote wheatfields of Western Australia. The enemy was not human, nor armored tanks, but a flock of birds, the emus. Flightless, fast, and surprisingly cunning, these creatures would soon humiliate the might of the Australian military in what history remembers as the Great Emu War. After World War I, the Australian government granted plots of land to returning soldiers, urging them to cultivate wheat and help rebuild the economy. By the early 1930s, these men had cleared vast expanses of arid terrain, turning it into promising farmland. But the Great Depression had already made life precarious, and the last thing they expected was a natural adversary capable of undermining their efforts. By late 1932, reports flooded government offices. Tens of thousands of emus migrating from the inland regions had descended upon the wheat belt. Crops were trampled overnight, fences were destroyed, water supplies contaminated. Farmers described entire harvests disappearing under the relentless march of these birds. Letters and telegrams pleaded for assistance, warning that their livelihoods were on the verge of collapse. The government, in an unusual and drastic decision, chose a military solution. Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery was assigned to lead an operation. Armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition, he approached the fields with confidence. According to his reports, he believed that the emus, though fast, could not possibly withstand coordinated firepower. The first engagement began with anticipation but quickly descended into farce. Emus scattered in all directions, their movements erratic and impossible to predict. Machine guns jammed repeatedly under the strain of sustained fire. Soldiers reported that while hundreds of rounds were fired, only a handful of birds fell. Major Meredith later noted in his diary that the emus appeared impervious to bullets, moving with an intelligence that defied understanding. As days passed, the military launched multiple sorties, attempting new tactics. Ambushes from trucks, coordinated volleys, even attempts to herd the birds. Each effort ended in frustration. The emus adapted, learning the soldiers' patterns, splitting into smaller groups, and retreating into the brush before any significant damage could be inflicted. Reports at the time read like something out of a dark comedy. Men racing across fields with rifles in hand, emus disappearing like shadows in the wind. Despite the apparent absurdity, the consequences were serious for farmers. Wheat crops lay ruined, fences broken, and water supplies compromised. Some farmers attempted to shoot emus independently, but even bounties offered by the government failed to stem the tide. The conflict, which began as a military campaign, quickly turned into a grim lesson on the limits of human control over nature. After weeks of engagement, Major Meredith formally withdrew his troops. The emus had won. Newspapers around the world reported the outcome with incredulity, mocking the Australian Army's failure. Headlines read, "Soldiers defeated by birds," and "Emus triumphant in the bush." Yet behind the humor lay a stark reality. Nature had prevailed, and human hubris had been exposed. In the years that followed, emus continued to roam freely across the wheat belt. Farmers adapted by building stronger fences, but the memory of 1932 remained etched into local history. The Great Emu War became a symbol of resilience, absurdity, and the unpredictable power of the natural world. It serves as a reminder that even the most meticulously planned operations can be undone by forces that cannot be tamed. Today, the story of the Great Emu War echoes in history books, documentaries, and scholarly articles. It is a cautionary tale, highlighting the arrogance of man and the adaptability of nature. The emus, indifferent to human concern, roam freely to this day. A living testament to a war they alone won, forever immortalized in one of the most unusual military engagements in human history. Some historians suggest that the war, while seemingly absurd, reflects deeper truths about the human struggle against nature. Official records, preserved in the National Archives of Australia, describe troop movements, gun reports, and countless anecdotes of soldiers being outwitted by birds. But what happened in those fields defies conventional understanding. How could such creatures, armed only with instinct and speed, render an entire military force ineffective? Some believe that the Great Emu War, often laughed at, is a sobering reminder. The natural world cannot be fully predicted, controlled, or conquered.